Charlotte, 2 dogs, and a cat. So thank you so much for joining me today. I know everybody says this, but that there are so many crochet, knitting, fiber art podcasts out there, so I really appreciate it if you're taking some time to sit and listen to me ramble on about some of the things that I've been making lately. I have a lot to show you today, so I've been really happy gearing up to record this podcast for the past week and a half or 2 weeks or so, because I do have quite a few things to show you. So I'm going to talk about my WIPs, my works in progress, something that I'm going to frog, a little bit about my yarn stash, my finished objects, and then some of my future plans that I am thinking about making, etc. Some podcasters that I've been watching and that have really inspired me, and then lastly, some about my yarn dyeing that I'm really excited about. So thanks for watching again, and let's get right to it. So first things first are WIPs, and the first project that I have to share is a crochet project. I needed to use up a bunch of acrylic yarn that I had been gifted by a co-worker last year sometime. She was so generous and just packed all of her yarn that she wasn't going to use into a couple of trash bags, and I pulled it all out and wound it all up, and at that time I was trying to get away from using acrylic yarn, and I'm still trying to get away from using acrylic yarn. I was going to talk about this later, but no time like the present, I guess. So I have all of my stash is basically acrylic or a wool acrylic blend. So I tried to find either small projects, anything that I need to be able to wash, like a baby item, blankets, like seasonal blankets, just anything that I can use up the acrylic yarn with, because I don't love the idea of throwing it away. I don't really have many yarny friends that I can gift it to. So yeah, so this is made out of Caron. It's just those 1 pound huge blobs of yarn, and they are Thanksgiving colors. So I really wanted to make the Leaves and Lace crochet afghan. It is from, I have show notes today. I am very professional. It is by, or it's called Mandala is to Crochet. So I have it in my cart on Amazon, but our budget's a little tight right now, and I think it is $25, and I think they dropped the price to around $20. But that pattern is in there, and I believe it's the only place that you can get it. And so I wanted to find a comparable blanket to that, and what I found was a patchwork leaf. So these are just squares, and then you seam them together, and I have all of my ends. So this is not comparable at all to the Leaves and Lace, because that pattern is more like a doily, and you create the leaves kind of lacy like. This yarn would not have worked out for that anyway. It is so, I don't know if you can tell how stiff this is. It is so stiff, so it's kind of good for something like this. And also I needed a mindless crochet whip, because I just finished this, which I will talk about later, and I am wanting to cast on a couple of other more difficult things. So a project like this is just so good, and it is honestly works up so fast because you're just crocheting these little squares. So I have it's 3 different patterns, but they're all the same pattern, but the colors change. So I've memorized that now, and after a couple, and it's just so mindless and easy. It calls for a 6mm crochet hook, and I sized down to a 5mm because that's just my favorite size, and that's fine for, worsted weight acrylic yarn, but it's making the fabric a little tighter, and this yarn is already not very nice to work with anyway, so it does kind of hurt my hands, so that's the only downside. But I don't know, right here I have my little squares. So I think it's called persimmon. So it leans a little coral, but I think once I put it with this and with the brown, it will lean more orange. So I'm doing those 2 colors. The pattern calls for 3 colors, so I do have a big ball of red acrylic yarn as well, so I was thinking about pulling that out. I bought it because I was going to make my husband a blanket, a Grafghan. He watches a podcast called Giant Bomb, and it's his favorite thing, so I was going to make him that. So I might save it for that because I do still want to make him that. So, but yeah, I think it'll be fine with 2 colors, and I'm horrendous at joining squares. That's why my Charlie's first year blanket is not joined yet. I'm just not good at doing anything other than a braided join. So this is going to really test my joining skills. Yeah. And then the last thing I'm going to do, because I really think, and I've read a lot about it in my crochet groups, that once I wash this, it will soften. So I'm really hoping that that is what happens with this, because this is just not enjoyable to lay under. And it is a seasonal blanket, like I said, I like to do. So it'll just be, out on the couch for anybody who wants to grab a blanket just during the fall. So not that big of a deal. It's not, a keepsake blanket or anything. And I really am really enjoying it. And because I am so technically proficient, I pulled up the pattern on Ravelry so you guys could see it. Hopefully you can see this. Can you see it? The glare, sorry guys. There it is. They did theirs with yellow, orange, and red on a cream background, and it is honestly so pretty. I love it. The pattern is by Yarnspirations, which, can we just talk about Yarnspirations for a second? They are no good. This pattern, if you go, it's free. If you go onto their website, you can download it. And I downloaded it, and then it seemed like some instructions were missing. And I can figure it out. It was fine. But I went back to read the comments, and there was a customer service person in the comments that linked, somebody had the same question as me, and they linked them to an updated version of the pattern. So you click on that, and you're able to download the updated version with all of the correct pattern information on it. So that is the second time that I have had issues with the Yarnspirations pattern. I'll talk about this probably later. I'm going to make another one of these, but I crocheted the Irish lace blanket that I just was browsing Pinterest, and it looked so pretty. And it turned out it was a Yarnspirations pattern, and the instructions are so unclear. I just don't think that it's a well-written pattern at all. But luckily there is a YouTube tutorial. I can't remember who it's by. So he walks through the entire pattern, and that's honestly the only way that I got it done, was because of that YouTube video, because the instructions were horrendous, honestly. So I don't know why they're so bad. They do have some cute patterns, and yeah, and a lot of people like their yarn. I think Karen is actually Yarnspirations brand now, or always has been, I don't know, so that's cool. I'm using their yarn for their pattern. But yeah, so it's just a simple repeat, and you join them. I just joined this so I could show you guys, and I think it's so cute. It's a leaf, very cute. So this is just my mindless project that I work on whenever I'm kind of tuckered out from doing everything else. So the next pattern that I have that I'm working on is called the Honeycomb Sweater by Nomad Stitches. So it's another crochet pattern, and I am to here. So I just split for the sleeves a couple of rows ago, and the pattern calls for, this is a paid pattern, so I can't talk about it too much, and I'll show you a picture of it here in a second. But the pattern, it's got honeycombs down at the bottom, and it's already supposed to start, you're supposed to start with a repeat, but it's kind of a cropped, it's supposed to be a cropped sweater, and I'm just not about that cropped life. So they did write in the pattern that if you want to add length onto it, this is the time before you start the actual pattern repeat. So I am on that part. So I'm just going to keep on until I have enough length, and then measure how many rows of the pattern repeat, how long it'll be, and then do that, because I really want to wear this, I think, with leggings. I'm not a huge fan of crocheted fabric. Like, it's just not my favorite. I much prefer knitted fabric. Can you see? It's just really holey. These are double crochets and single crochets. It's just too holey for me, but it is nice. And this yarn is the same as this yarn in a different color. So when I was wanting to make this sweater, this yarn was so cheap that I couldn't figure out my color palette. So I was debating on using this color with the white, still with the white color work. So I had a ball of it, and I started this. It calls for over 1,000 yards, and I think this is almost 500. So I'll only need max 2 more balls to do this. So I'm going to wait till it goes on sale. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and then I'm going to pick it up and finish this sweater. And this has taken me no time at all. It's crocheted on a 4.5 millimeter hook. So yeah, it's taking no time at all, and it is so pretty. The color, I love it. And I love the sweater too. I got the inspiration from another podcaster that made the Wool and Honey. I think it's by Andrea Mowry. Yes. Yes, it is, because she named it after the yarn store, I believe. Sorry, I think so. But it is kind of the same thing except reverse, and it's knit. So the honeycomb pattern is here, and then you knit the rest of the sweater, and it is so pretty. It is honestly gorgeous. But I just finished this. I didn't really want to knit a sweater right away. I wanted something super easy, and crochet is super easy for me. So I just got this pattern and started on that, and now I'm out of yarn. So, but yeah, okay. So that is all for my whips. That's the only two things that I'm working on so far. So next we will talk about what I am going to frog. Hi, so I totally forgot to show y'all a picture of the honeycomb sweater. So let me show you that really quick. Here, can you see? That's the pattern on the bottom of the sweater. I love it. And here's the whole sweater. Hopefully you can see that. Sorry if you can't. Oh, I love it. It's so cute. It's simple. It's cute. After this, if I end up loving the honeycomb thing, which I probably will, I think I will knit did I call it milk and honey? Wool and honey. The wool and honey. I think I will knit it. It's gorgeous. So the thing I'm going to frog, and I'm really sad about it, is this sweater. It is the Goldenrod, if I can get this to work. It's the Goldenrod sweater by 11 Handmade. I'll just show you the whole page. This sweater, she has so many beautiful patterns, and I love this pattern, so it's nothing about the pattern why I'm frogging it. So, like I was saying earlier, I'm really trying to get away from using acrylic yarn. I want to buy indie dyed yarn, I want to dye my own yarn, and I want to support real fiber and get away from the plasticky acrylic. That is just something I want to do. But when I made that decision, Hobby Lobby decided to put half their yarn on sale. So I went down there and they had this, some kind of Fair Isle. It's pretty scratchy. It was on sale for like $1, so I bought all of it that they had, thinking that I can make the Goldenrod sweater out of it. And the reason I'm frogging it is because I ran out. This is my last ball, and I'm not even past the Goldenrods on the yoke yet. So definitely don't have enough yarn to finish, which is really sad. I worked really hard on this, so that is sad. I don't know which side's the front. Here it is. It's really big. Yeah, I was making the extra large because I wanted it to be super loose and cozy because this yarn is really scratchy. So I wanted to be able to wear a full t-shirt underneath it and just be cozy. So I love the pattern. Oh, it's even itching me like through my sweater. But I love the yarn. It's so pretty. She's got most of hers in solid colors, which is very beautiful. I just liked this yarn and I thought it would be a good idea. Yeah, so I have to frog that. This yarn is really hard to frog. I don't know if you can see all the fiber floating around. It's just so scratchy. It's really scratchy. So, and delicate. So it's really hard to frog. And I know it has a lot of bobbles, puff stitches. So those are hard to frog as well, with how your hook has to go through all of them to complete them. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but that is a project I have to frog. And I do not frog things very often, honestly, because I know I have quite a bit of acrylic yarn, but a lot of it was gifts. I usually buy for my project. Even though I'm buying the more affordable acrylic yarn, I am one of those that doesn't really have a stash. I just like to see a project, buy for that project, finish it, do it all over again. So I don't really frog anything because I have stuff in mind for the yarn. So it's kind of hurting my feelings just a little bit that I have to do that, but we'll see. Yeah, so on to the next section. talk about, or the next things, are my FOs. So the first thing is this really, really cute, these are knit, pair of baby trousers. Are they not the cutest things that you have ever seen? Because they are for me. And they have a little tie. You're supposed to sew, sorry, my hair, I shed. You're supposed to sew this down invisibly, but I kind of liked doing it like that. And then this is just some fabric from one of my old tops that I'm never going to wear again. And I made this is a free pattern as well, let's see. It's by Hobby Designs. I found it on Ravelry by searching, I think, baby onesie. I don't know. But you can find it on my project page. I'm Southern Makes on Ravelry, so if you want to go have a look, I am busy updating my pictures and just curating a more seamless Ravelry. It's been really exciting. I love stuff like that, like just making things all nice and neat. And I need to follow more groups on there. Right now I'm in Woolen Vines, Stress Knits, and Cherry Heart's Cozy Corner right now. So those are the only 3, but I will be following more. I, of course, follow other people, so I'll be following some more. I want to show you what the little trousers look like on the project page. Mine are a little bit different. I think I used a heavier yarn. And they are. Like I said, it's a free pattern. I did it on circular needles, on 4mm circular needles, and 3.75 for the ribbing. And I made the 12 to 18 month size, and honestly they fit Charlotte. She is in the 90th percentile for her height, and she's about average for her weight. So I feel like they fit because of her height, but she'll be able to wear them, I think, for at least a little through this winter season. I originally made them for next winter, but I think she'll be able to wear them this winter. And I am going to stick in true Southern Makes fashion some pictures at the end of the podcast, and that will be one that I show you guys, is a little picture of her. And on my Ravelry project page, there are pictures of her wearing them, which I think is super cute. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was my Ingles. So I finished. It took, I think, 2 months to do this. I knit Charlotte's in between, so I didn't just work on this, and I made a gift for a friend. So this was the 3rd or 4th project I was working on, but it did take me 2 months, and I used its DK weight acrylic that I originally thought was wool from Hobby Lobby. I think it's like $4 a ball, plus they always have coupons, and I used 2.5 balls for this. And then the cream is the same brand, it's cream. It's white. So I made a lot of mistakes with this. I'll put some pictures in at the end, and I have some pictures on my Instagram, which is Southern Makes Co. So go check that out if you want to see. But the mistakes I made, first off, I did the ribbing. I couldn't figure out the ribbing, which I don't know why, because I figured it out on the bottom hem. I think I just needed to up my confidence a little bit. But I just did a 2x2 ribbing for the neckline, and I messed up something about the color work. I did one too many stitches, so my color work wasn't matching up for the first couple of rows, and then I learned how to fudge it in a way that wasn't noticeable. So like halfway through one of the color work, I'm calling these snowflakes, you can't notice it anymore that I had messed it up. So that was a thing. So that kind of threw the increases in my lace work off. I learned German short rows for the back shaping, which I loved that technique. Now when people talk about short rows, I totally know what they're talking about, and I feel on the loop, and it's awesome. So I learned that. And then doing all of the stockinette was honestly so relaxing. So here you can tell the color change difference that I talked about in my last couple of podcasts, and you can really see it in the pictures I posted on Instagram. So that's kind of annoying. You can tell here where I joined on the sleeve that's a different color, and here, and then here matches here. I mean, whatever, honestly. And I just did 3/4 length sleeves because that's what I like a little bit more. I wash a lot of bottles and dishes by hand, and I just need kind of like to keep my sweaters off of my, I want to wear this around the house, which is where I stay a lot of the time. I stay home with my daughter, so I just like having my hands, and I get a little hot crocheting and cleaning and whatever. So I did that, and then I did not do enough length on it for me. It hits like right at my hip level. I didn't block it because I just decided it wasn't worth it since it's acrylic, and I should have crocheted a little bit, I should have knitted it a little bit longer, but I was just honestly, even though I love the stockinette, I was ready to do some other things. So I went ahead and started the ribbing, and then I did the ribbing too short. So I sat it down for a couple of days and then picked it back up, ripped out all the ribbing, and then redid it. So I did add like 2 or 3 inches more onto the bottom when I did that, and then I made the ribbing longer too, which is still not as long as what the pattern calls for, but I love it. It is my first knitted garment and my first colorwork garment, my first short row item, period. And I thought it was my first knitting garment item at all, but I had a Facebook memory yesterday. I knit a shawl last year that I totally forgot about because it didn't suit me at all. It's like orange and yellow, and it just didn't suit me, so I totally forgot about it. But I did knit that, so this is my second completed ever knitting project, and I'm so proud of it and so in love with it. The yarn isn't scratchy, it's so soft and like squishy, and I can't imagine what a sweater like this would feel like knitted out of really nice yarn, and to hold this strand, the colorwork strand with mohair, which I would absolutely love to do on the next. This is the Ingles by Caitlin Hunter. So, and I love almost every single one of her patterns. I just love them. So I think the next time I do one of her patterns, if applicable, I will hold the colorwork with a mohair strand. I just love that look. It's so pretty. And I knitted the size large. So I think I'll knit the XL size because I'm busty, I'm tall, I'm 5'8", pretty much, kind of athletically built, and then I'm big bust. So this kind of item doesn't flatter me 100% completely. More so the V-necks flatter me, or things where my shoulders are out, because I also have big shoulders. So this kind of accentuates that. I just loved it so much, and it reminds me so much of Christmas, and just, it makes me feel so cozy, so I had to make it, even though I knew it wouldn't be the most flattering thing on me. But yeah, I still love it. And the next time I make one of her patterns, I'll keep that in mind and pick one. I haven't gone through to look lately at my library, but pick one that has maybe either a wider boat neckline or one that dips more, or yeah, we'll see. So I love it, and it is finished. So excited. If you've watched any of my other episodes, I don't know, I think this is the 4th one, which yay, I'm so excited to be recording. It just makes me happy. I don't know how many subscribers I have. I'm not one of those who like sits and looks at numbers or anything. I mean, probably for the best, because I think there's 3 of you guys out there. Not really sure. Hi, Mom. But yeah, so I love doing this. I think I'll just keep doing it just for me. If no one ever watches, that's okay. I just really love an outlet to talk about my projects and what I'm doing. Like I said, I don't know many yarny people, so it's just nice to sit and get all of my stuff together and talk about it, especially now that I'm going to dye yarn. It's really exciting. So that's what I want to talk about next, is my yarn dyeing. So what I did is I ordered a ton of dye. So I have all my dye and all of the equipment to dye. And then I ordered a lot of 50-gram balls of Knit Picks 100% Peruvian wool, worsted weight. So that is what I dyed first, because I just wanted to mix some colors and see how they reacted, and I just wanted to dip my toe in before I did it on more precious yarn. So I'll show you some of what came out of that. The first one is this. It's very fuzzy. So sorry, my winding job wasn't great on this. This one was pretty frustrating. I couldn't get it to wind into a ball, so that's why it's kind of crazy. But I dyed 2 of those. I wanted to fill up the pan. So this is what it looks like in a cake. And then I knit a tiny, tiny little gauge swatch, or a little swatch. there's that. So I was going for, I mean, you can see the plum and the emerald, but this color reminds me so much of old school pajama pants that a dad would wear. Does it not? So I was thinking about tweaking this and calling it and keeping it and calling it Dad's Pajamas. So I'm really thinking about that, and I'm coining Dad's Pajamas. I'm sure it's already out there, but I mean, yeah. So that's that one. And then the next one is just like a fuchsia. And that's what it looks like. And here it is in a cake. So I dyed 2 of those. And then I decided I wanted to be precious with the last couple of balls that I had and dye all different things. So this is a tonal blue. There's some dark blue, some light blue. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then this one is my favorite. It's so fuzzy. It's pink with speckles and white, spot natural, more speckles. I just love this one. This one's amazing. Yes, and then the last one is this guy. So green and orange and yellow, some blue. I'll show you this out. This is what this one looks like. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I learned a lot from doing this. I went into it knowing I was a little disappointed because the temperature on my temperature wasn't quite right. I thought it was going to felt. This is not superwash. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm so proud of it now. I had to sit on it for a couple of days. I thought it was going to felt, which in some places, especially on that darker one, that first one I showed you, it did felt just a little bit. I need to run it through my wool wash again, I think, because that one is definitely going to bleed and the blue one might bleed a little bit. So I definitely need to run it through and just give it a good soak and wash before I use it again. But I also got a lace weight, a fingering weight, and a worsted weight of high quality yarn that I am planning on carrying once I get my recipes down and open my shop. So I was being really precious with those and sat on it for about a week. And then, and please don't mind these skeins, I just didn't wind them or make them into hanks all pretty like I should have done that. But this is the, let's see, this is my BFL, my 4-ply. So this one is a 75% superwash merino, and I was choosing between a 75 and an 80%, and I think I like the 75 and then 25% nylon. So here is this one. Can you even, what? I hope that you can see the speckling and the colors. A really deep color there. Oh. And here it is. And I think it might be coming up a little bit more pink in this light. We've had some rain. It's dreary and the sun just poked out, so the lighting is pretty weird. So here it is. And y'all, I love it. And this one I am being pretty precious with. So these are the only 2 that I have dyed of my nice yarn so far. And then I have my lace weight, which is just a 100% BFL. And I think that I prefer the BFL right now. I do want to, I haven't tested it yet, but I want an MCN, which is merino nylon cashmere. So I want one of those blends, and I haven't dyed. I do have a worsted high quality bear skein, so I will dye that. But after this worsted weight, I'm kind of being a little precious about that, and I know I shouldn't be because this worsted is superwash and higher quality, of course, than this Knit Picks, so should be better. But yeah, I'm just taking my time and figuring out. I have all of my colorways right now that I'm like thinking about and their names, and yeah, so I'm just trying to take my time and figure it out because, like I've said I think a million times, I am on a tight budget. It's really not cost effective for me to have this hobby right now because I am staying home. So we are one income family right now. So I'm really trying to be smart about what I do, what I buy, while learning the most that I can while I can. So, and I'm not going to put something, out there in a store without being completely 100% ready with it. So, my future plans for my dyeing are to, I think I might even do it today because it's sunny, is to dye the lace weight yarn and think about dyeing the worsted yarn if I have enough time before my daughter goes to bed. So, yes, there is that. So the very last thing that I wanted to talk about were some podcasts that I have been watching that have been really inspiring to me. I haven't really talked about this yet, but 2 or 3 months ago, I didn't really know that knitting podcasts were a thing. I am 27 years old. I've been crocheting for a long time, and now I've learned that there aren't a lot of crocheters that podcast, so I'm kind of excited to be one of those people. There are a lot of knitting, so maybe that's why I didn't know, but I just wasn't super aware. So a couple months ago, I think I was just watching another YouTube video, and a video popped up on my sidebar, and it was Sam of Betsy Makes, and I just loved her. I watched her most recent episode that they were advertising to me, loved her, clicked back, and literally watched all of them. And she was so inspiring. It was kind of a darker time in my life. After you have a baby, some things can go on, and that's what I was dealing with. So I was just sad and needed a pick-me-up, and Sam really did that for me. And she always talked about her friend, so I went and checked her out, and that was Sandra with Cherry Heart. So I liked her first couple of episodes I watched, the newer ones. Went back and watched all of those. I mean, these ladies have a lot of episodes, so that took up quite a big while. But those two ladies, and both of them also crochet, so that's exciting. And they are based in the UK. Also very exciting and relaxing. And they taught me a bunch about indie dyed yarn and just things like that, things that I didn't know, I just wasn't aware of. So they instilled in me a sudden newfound love of all things indie dyed yarn, all things trendy. I was so not in the loop on sweater trends and just things, but there was a knitting and crochet community, period. I mean, I knew about Ravelry. I've had my Ravelry since 2014, but my mind was just blown by these two women. So after that, I watched a couple more podcasts, but lately I just binge watched every single episode of Stacy with Stress Knits. I really related. She talks a lot about her personal life, which I think is a wonderful thing here in this space. It's just wonderful, and I loved her. Like, I watched, she popped up, that was also recommended on my sidebar, so I watched all of hers. Love her. I just love her. And she also dyes yarn. She started out not dyeing yarn, and then she worked up into it. So yeah, she's really inspiring, and I think that if I do buy some indie yarn for my weekender sweater, I will start to buy from her. I think I'm gonna go with Stacy. So the other two that I wanted to mention that I just started watching last night was What's Kinda Quirky with Gabby. She also popped up on my sidebar, and I love the episode I watched last night of her. It might have been her newest one, because she was talking about Rhinebeck. So yeah, and I'm gonna go back and watch all of hers. I'm really excited to have a new one because I finished all of Stacy's. And then another one, my show notes were trying to get away from me. The very last one that I'm watching right now is A Lovely Yarn with Amber. She's based here, and so is Gabby. Gabby's in Connecticut, and then Amber is in Pennsylvania. So two American ladies that it's just different because all of us, I feel like we're all connected across the sea here. It's just amazing to find people from such different places, and I'm in Tennessee, so I don't know, it's just crazy to find these women. But the farmhouse shawl pattern that I mentioned. Actually, Amber mentioned it on her podcast, and that's how I even found the pattern, and I absolutely loved it when she showed it. So thank you, Amber. Yeah, so those women have been so inspiring to me. I know that they probably won't ever see this, but I can't thank them enough for opening my eyes. I already love this craft, but now I just love it so much more. And the possibilities of this community to come together, to meet people, to actually fit in with another group of people that you know are like-minded and that are doing things that you also love and love to talk about it. It is so heartwarming. It is amazing, and I just love it. It has brought me so much peace, so much joy. I just feel I'm like really emotional about it, and I'm so thankful that it's something that is available to me. And I hope to one day be like these women with my podcast and with my yarn dyeing and my projects. And yeah, so enough of that. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed all of my makes today. Like I said, it's mid-October, so hopefully I'll have some more whips as budgets will allow, or maybe I'll break out some of my acrylic yarn and like just get some things on my hook and on my needles and have some more things to show you soon. So thank you so much for watching. If you've stuck with me this long, I know this is a longer episode. I really, really appreciate it, and I thank every single person that took time out of their day to watch me. I just really appreciate it. And if you guys want to subscribe, it literally shows me that you appreciate it if you like what I'm saying, or go follow me on Ravelry. I'll check out your projects, or just, whatever, or check out my Instagram. Southern Makes and Southern Makes Co. So Southern Makes on Ravelry, and then Southern Makes Co, because Southern Makes was taken, on Instagram. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.